Alright, y'all. Welcome back to another region breakdown. Today, I'm going to be clumping all the remaining ones together. I know I've been making individual videos, but with daily releases starting tomorrow, I want to get all of them out there so you can be informed. So we've went over starting regions, wilderness, and Caridian Desert. Now we'll go ahead and knock out the other ones. Let's start with Mauritania. And we're going to do this rapid fire style thanks to this website, rs3leagues.com. Check it out. So at Mauritania, you get Darkmire, Canifis, Port Phasmatis. Um, I don't think Mauritania really has a whole lot going on in it. I don't think you're going to be picking this unless you just really enjoy the content here. For bosses, it has Araxi, the Barrows Brothers, and Rise of the Six. Araxi is good, has some good weapon upgrades. Nox Scythe, of course, great for that halberd range, Slayer training and whatnot. But there's other items you can get that kind of replace that and kind of help you avoid taking Mauritania, as bad as that sounds. But you can get the Dragon Rider Lance from Desert. So, and not too much to talk about that. You do have the Slayer Tower, and yeah, I don't think it's going to be a very popular region. Moving on to Anachronia. Um, Bosses in Anachronia are Rex Matriarchs, Raksha, Asius. Now, there is a potential that they do it like old school and they let the Rex Matriarchs drop like the upgraded rings instead of just the hearts. Because if it's just the hearts, then you have to take Fremenic and farm those rings to get the upgraded rings, which, in my opinion, would not make it worth it. But if they drop as full rings, you might be looking at Anachronia as your third area. Others being Wilderness and Desert, because I strongly believe those are just the two best you can pick this league. Raksha could be a big upgrade for people going range because you got greater ricochet, and then greater chain for magic helps you with some AOE. Big Game Hunter exists in Anachronia, a very good way to train up your hunter, and you get some Slayer XP too. You're going to need to do that if you want to get Dragomatic to help out with archaeology. The Anachronia Agility course is very good, probably the best all-arounder course in the game, because there's sections you can do at low level for OK XP, and then it scales all the way up to being the best course in the game, late game. So you got the Asuran Arsenal Heist, that you can get the dagger and the spike harness from. So two really big melee upgrades. Might be thinking about that. The Dream of Aya, that is if they autocomplete Extinction. It's just kind of some passive XP and a handful of skills that use your Anachronia resources as a currency. The Time Altar, if you want time runes, that does exist in the northeast part of Anachronia. Accidental Fletching and Firemaking, two higher level training methods that give pretty good XP. Definitely worth it to do if you have this region. Irby Werby is a weekly D&D. Gives you some Herblar XP that scales based off your Herblar level. So that could help. Like I said, it's a weekly, so you're only going to be able to do it a handful of times. Asius, I skipped that dinosaur, but she drops a necromancy ring that scales up your necrosis stacks. So could be looking to do that if you're interested. And that's Anachronia. So we've covered the entire east side of the map. Let's go on to Asgarnia and Troll Country. This website has it listed as. So all the way up north. You get Taverley, Burthorpe, Port Sarum, Falador. Bosses that you unlock with this region is Elite Dungeon 1. You need... It's an okay... I think it's my least favorite of the Elite Dungeons, but if you want to do that, that's there. No, like, singular big unlock from there. You unlock Virago, so that's going to give you your Seismics, pretty good weapon upgrades for magic. Pretty hard to do. You can solo the boss, but you're probably going to want a group to do it. Queen Black Dragon, Nothing super notable there. You get Royal D'hide, but that's tank armor. You get the Royal Crossbow, but that would just be a very short pit stop on your progression in leagues. Giant Mole, once again, nothing really special comes from there. You get the God Wars dungeon, which is probably one of the biggest attractions of taking Asgarnia. You get all four of the God Wars generals, so you can get some mid-game power armor upgrades and weapons from Armadillo. You get Armadillo crossbow, so it's a ranged weapon. Everything else is just armor upgrades, though. Um, you get necks to further upgrade your armors. You know, she drops Virtus, Torva, Pernix. Um, Pretty good armor upgrades. Some of those are required for masterworking. Like if you're gonna go for any masterwork armor, I'm pretty sure all of those are required as components for that. You get next AOD, get a Prizal wand and orb, some good magic weapons again. You're probably gonna want to kill this in a group. Pretty hard to solo. Next to impossible if you don't know what's going on, but maybe more possible with League's relics. You can also get the Prizal Codex, which will unlock the tier 99 damaging prayers for every style. So that could be a pretty big incentive. You unlock the Invention Guild here, but I'm assuming they're not going to lock Convention to needing Asgarnia. So the Invention Guild itself might not do a whole lot. You'll unlock the different machines you can make in there. I'm assuming that will be required um, to have Asgarnia. I don't think you'll be able to do invention machines unless you do have Asgarnia, so that's a good little buff. You get the Troll Invasion monthly D&D, so you probably only be able to do this once, maybe twice, but it gives you a book that you can put into a skill, and it XP scales with your level, and it's a good amount of XP. And then Void Knight Outpost. There is a divination engram there that is very useful for a certain divination method, but other than that, you unlock a good stocked rune shop there as well. All right, let's move on to the Fremnik province, the region that I believe will have, unfortunately, just about no people taking it. It just doesn't offer a whole lot. You get a construction shop in Keldegrim. You have Relica, which not much there. You get Miscellanea, so some passive resources could be nice. And then the only boss there is Dagonoth Kings for the rings. And like I said, I don't know how they're going to do it, but if the Rex Matriarchs don't drop the upgraded ring, that could be a reason to take Fremnik Province. But that would mean that you're taking Fremnik and Anachronia just to get a ring upgrade, which means you cannot take one of Desert or Wilderness, which are just both very, very strong in this league. All right, let's talk about Kandarin. Pretty good area. You get Kandarin, Feldapils. So you're going to get all the cities there. Gnome Stronghold, Artie, Sears Village, Uglog, Gnome Tree, Yanil, Catherby. You're going to get quite a bit of tree and fruit tree patches in this region. So that could be a good reason to take it. You get the Legiones if you want to go for an Ascension crossbow, or two of them if you want the offhand. That's going to be a pretty big grind because you need the Ascension Keystones, or the Ascension Keys, which take a while to farm up. You get player owned farm, good passive way to get farming XP. One of my favorites because I'm not a big farm run enjoyer, so having animals that take longer to grow up, but you get a bigger chunk of XP is nice. Penguins, if you want to be able to turn in your penguin points, you do that in Ardeny, so that could be like a nice little incentive, little buff to have XP in whatever skills you want. Deep sea fishing, pretty big for the fishing skill. Outside of deep sea fishing, I think your best fishable food is going to be like rocktail, so could be a good reason to take it. We got the range guild for fletching supplies, and then eternal magics. It's the only place in the game that eternal magics exist. So if you don't take this region, you won't have eternal magic trees. unless you take Endless Harvest and you're banking on that 10% resource upgrade. And last but not least, but not most, is going to be Tyrannwyn. We have Prifddinas and Chetya. In Chetya, you get a fruit tree patch. Prifddinas, there's a lot of stuff there. You got soft clay rocks, just a bunch of things that make skilling easier, more simple. You have like every type of patch there. You got herb patch, you got fruit tree, regular tree. That's pretty good. Tyrannwyn is also going to unlock you Solak. So the Lost Grove is going to be part of Tyrannwyn for the league. I don't know how you're going to get there. Probably via Fairy Ring, I guess. Um, but yeah, so Solak, unless they're going to have like a little portal that they put in the game to kick you there. So from that, you get Blightbound, you get the Aerithor's Grimoire, which is one of the best pocket slot items. Blightbound crossbows are pretty good range upgrades. You're going to get the Dragon Halberd in Port Tyrus. That's going to be a very good early to mid game way to train up your melee stats. And then all the crystal equipment and attuned crystal equipment. So that's going to be like some later mid game, early late game upgrades. So like Crystal Halberd, Crystal Wand and Orb, Crystal Bow is kind of mid, but yeah. And then everything there is to do in Brief. I mean, there's a lot. So I have now covered every region, some a little bit more in detail. The ones that I went in big detail, though, are the ones that I think everybody's going to pick. So I wanted to kind of give a more detailed view of what's there. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what regions you're going to take, and we'll catch you in the next one. I'm going to do daily releases alongside the daily blogs we get. So hopefully we get some relics, blessings, and I'll cover that and let you guys know what I think. Thanks.